What's going on, everybody? This is BMT coming at you again. Um, Coming at you again with this one. I definitely wanted to do this one. Shout out to Queen Mayat. I wanted to tackle this one about. Shit, I might have to just get on my laptop and actually do the discussion. But pretty much it's about Larry Elder. Uh, I don't want to call everybody brother because I feel like you can't get everybody that goddamn card. But I do. First of all, Larry Elder is a successful man. Um, he ran a race. He tried. Shout out to him for at least trying. Um, Here we are now. That he ran the race. And he lost. Okay. And somebody asked me, or somebody said, "BMT, if you're pro-black, why didn't you vote for Larry Elder?" You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that say that they speak for black people. I guess whatever. Um, but they said, "Why didn't you vote for Larry Elder?" And I said, "Vote for Larry Elder? Why would I get behind him? Like Larry Elder, if you don't believe in race, then first of all, or any of that stuff, like the man said some stuff that was crazy, and I was like, yo, I don't know what kind of whiskey in the morning did he drink or take part in, but I'm curious. Because, like everybody has a right to believe in what they believe. I mean that's how this country works. But what's going on 300? But he lost. He lost. And he was saying stuff like he believed that the slave masters should get reparations also and all kinds of stuff. Like it was a lot of wild stuff that he felt about um, ethnicities, namely black people. And I would be like, dang, like who's writing his stuff? Like it's like he's pulling out some dark humor jokes from Tenacious D and Seth Rogen and stuff. But regardless of all that, as I would watch the thing, I'm surprised he didn't go get no hood conservatives or none of those people. But he lost the race. Now some people feel like the system was rigged. QAnon, I guess they didn't do their job this time, or whatever, or probably because of, you're going to hear this conspiracy theories going to come out. Everybody always makes conspiracy theories. That's why I like the internet. It's always funny. Like if something goes wrong, it must have been Jesus. It must have been something about Power Rangers, or you know, clearly Obama had him set up. So you're going to hear all kind of stuff. But the thing about it was, and I'm curious because I wondered, like, somebody said, well, if you're pro-black, why did you vote for Larry Elder? And I said, what? Like, wait, you want to be like just because we're black, don't mean that everybody that's black that we just vote blindly. And that's a dangerous thing when people say that about black people. That because you're black, that automatically you are you are supposed to, without any type of hesitation, vote for that group or that brand of people. Then I will honestly say you don't understand black people, or you really don't understand that of the movement. And um, I look at it because I want to talk to only conservatives, and I want to talk to conservatives, and I want to talk to people from California. This is predominantly their show that they have the right to speak. If you're a conservative, you have the right to come up. If you're not a conservative, then sit out of this one because I want to know what conservatively did Larry Elder do to make you as a black person want to vote for him? What was he saying? What was he pushing out there that was getting you hyped? Now, well, I mean, I listened closely, man. I did. I really did. And I mean, like I said, the man is a successful person. He is. But Larry Larry Elder, uh, I'm trying to be very, very politically nice about this. The black people in California weren't fucking with him. Like that's what he was saying. I guess he was saying he was, but like I was watching. Like I mean, other than Gorilla Girl, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody was fucking with Larry Elder like that. I'm just saying it wasn't one of those things. Like I don't know what was Larry Elder supposed to do for y'all in Cali. What was he set out to do? Because I mean, ultimately, the shit that was going on out there, y'all had deeper issues, man. And the problem that we're seeing is everybody makes it seem like just because uh you're black, you automatically just got to go with whatever is black. And if that's what you think about black people, then I mean, shit, you really got us fucked up, or you don't think really much of us. Like there's some inner traumatic demons going on with you, man. So that's why I called. I had to have this conversation because if you're telling me that literally because this man because this man was black, I was supposed to just support him blindly. Okay, you're from California. I got you. I got you. Shout out to you, Yuri. I've been so busy working, bro. I know you've been reaching out to me, family. You know, I've been so busy running around, but I want to have this conversation, and this is perfect. Yuri, like I said, let's just keep it a book. And like I said, if you're from California, if you are if you are a conservative, or you're black, or hell, just if you're from California, don't matter what you are. If you're from California, I need to know what about Larry Elder was speaking to you. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind. Sometimes I used to have my little devil candy, um, devil candy, and sneak and listen to conservative talk radio. I used to, but when it just starts going into blaming, and less about hey, let's. I like grassroots fixers. I'm not sure people even know what grassroots is. Grassroots is you're at the ground level and you're getting to the root of the problem and you're just fixing it. Like you don't got time to be doing all that bravado shit. You don't got time to be all on there talking all that good jabber. You're just out there doing it. Less of that victimology shit. More of that let's get straight to the root shit. Now, when it came to the man, what was it he doing? Like I was saying stuff about immigrants. When we already know California is immensely made of immigrants. So what else? What else was there that was out there getting fixed? What was his plan? What was it? I heard enough about black single mothers and children, and there's no fathers. But guess what? That's an American problem. Why do you keep bringing up black people in single parent households? I watch that shit. Not to say I run from accountability, but I always wonder what is the method of the madness? Always throwing out a particular race or group of people about something. What do you get out of doing it? If you so called pro American, why are you always bringing up a certain group of people? But then you try to shame them into why they should vote for you. His big linchpins were school choice, education, and homelessness. Okay, so let's get at that. And those are pretty good. They thank you about that, Iori. Keep it coming. School choice. I have no problem. I feel like you should. But now here's the problem. A lot of the programs, a lot of the programs, because mind you, I get it. You want it where you should have the right to be able to pick what school you go to or what school your child goes to. Linchpins, you know what I'm saying? T96 says rigged election. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You say it was a rigged election. I would ask the people if he's talking on homelessness, what were you doing, Larry Elder, that was helping homelessness? What were you doing? You see, you got to ask the question. Like, I get you talking about Gavin Newsom, but what were you doing before then? See, your actions should speak louder than your words. Here you sitting from your ivory tower. You don't live around those people. You don't drive past those people. You don't go nowhere around those people. Larry Elder, you're a millionaire. When you talk about problems and the system and everything, you're not speaking from that of the people that are having problems with living in a certain district or area. Oh no, Larry, you're not there. I'm being honest. Like I said, I listened to his when I used to have XM radio. Before I call this YouTube stuff, I was just listening to radio. See, y'all really, if you really want to hear how some people really think, he wanted to lower regulations to build more affordable housing. Okay, let's look at that. Listen, the taxes in California are high as shit. Jesus Christ. Think y'all taxes alone could get some of these states out of debt. Affordable housing. They've already started to rebuild the housing in those areas. I saw people go to vote when I went and they were told already vote. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna have to but you are welcome to come up T96. Hold on, did I drop the link? Yeah, I dropped the link. Because the question is like if y'all think it's a rigged election. Now here's the thing about it. If it's a rigged election, you can write in your ballot. Just because the election happened that day, you can still write in your ballot and still send it in. Still send it in. You can still write it in. Like I like understand this. When you don't just vote that same day, you can vote before that day because you know people gotta go to work. You know people gotta go to work. And then you have it where for those people, if they were working that night, let's say they worked that night, guess what? You can write in your stuff, take it up to the town hall, and drop it in there. I was possibly going back to California, but not that. So I'm asking all conservatives. I'm asking all Californians. What about Larry Elder spoke to you? You are allowed to come up and tell me. I'm here to have a civil conversation about what about it that he was selling to you that maybe we weren't seeing. What were y'all doing? What were y'all doing over there? What have y'all been doing? There's a lot of us outside. I'm on the East Coast. So what's going on the outside that what was he doing for y'all before he started talking about running? Or was it just words? Was it just about talking about, well, we got an immigrant problem? What's going on, Des? You were saying a lot about immigrants, but no offense, but goddamn it, like I mean, California is a big melting pot. I was over there just 2 years ago. Hmm? You're talking about school choice. What school? You got to call out. You got to call out the school that you talking about that you want to tackle. You're talking about single parent homes, and you brought up a lot of stuff about black people and immigrants. You don't think they weren't watching? Majority of California is, guess what? They're not white. I'm just being honest. Majority of Californians are not. They're not white. I know they show Holly weird, but everything else is not white. Like, I know a lot of people like to bring up the homeless thing. Yeah, I get it. So you got to ask yourself the question: what were you doing, or what are some people? When people bring up homeless, I always ask them. So what were you doing before you started talking about running? Well, if I win, this is what I'm gonna do. Well, why aren't you doing it now? You got the money. You're supposed to be a traditional conservative. So that means you're going to be out there doing God's work. But then again, you don't like to be around those people, and you say that those type of people, they don't got their shit together. One person says, nothing but insults his whole life, and boy, did we get him. If it was not for him, Gavin would be out. Hmm. What percentage of Kentucky is homeless? Kentucky's homeless population total. Homeless population, 5.9999% of state's population. Um, that is homeless. 14% of states. 14% state ranked 24. Thank you for that, DOD. Shout out to DOD. You got to ask yourself the question, man. When some people, when they talk about, or they share, or they bring up, certain information, you got to ask yourself the question, man. What are you doing? Where are you congregating at? Do you even eat? Would you even go around those type of people? You know, I always find it interesting. I always find it interesting, and that's why I always say, now is y'all time. Y'all can come up and speak. You can come and speak. Queen Mayat, you can come on up. Come on now. How you say it? Talk to me. Talk to me. So I'm talking to you, friendly. I'm not no RBR. I'm not nobody. I'm not calling nobody out the name. I would like to have the conversation. Or is it because I'm a black man? Is that why some white people don't want to talk to me about this? You see, it's very interesting when I, as a black man, I want to ask a question. I'm always told it's my fault, or my people, they lack the cognitive skills of accountability, that they don't have the cognitive skills to be observant of this situation. So now when I ask people, but I don't mind going to anybody's panel. I don't mind having a conversation. I believe some of y'all are possibly thick skinned. I'm asking the question, real talk. This is why I don't believe in this political shit a lot of people be spewing. Everybody likes to jump on pro blacks, and then pro blacks got this kind of scam and everything else. And everybody likes to say accountability, that it's the doggone immigrants' fault why our country or our state is failing. So let's talk about that. So it's the immigrants' fault why our education system is failing. While we have problems with school choice, it's the immigrants' fault that Americans can't get jobs. What jobs are immigrants taking from Americans? First of all, let's ask that question. What jobs are immigrants taking from Americans? Let's start off with that one first. I need to know what job, because let's be honest, are poor black folks hiring immigrants? Let's ask, let's ask that question. What job is an immigrant taking or has taken from you? Let's start off with that one. Let's go after the talking points. But I hear a lot about immigrants are being said that they're the problem. Now I'm a black man. Let me make sure I came up for y'all. I'm a black man. Okay. What job is an immigrant stealing from me? Well, they're stealing our benefits. What benefits are they taking? You have to apply for benefits. Food stamps. Everybody don't get food stamp B. It's a process, and you know, for you to get food stamps, you have to sign up your information. They're taking all the gas stations. What's stopping you from getting a gas station? Now, this is interesting, but as a conservative, you're told to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. You're told to put in hard work. So why would, if you're already putting in the work, how is that of somebody just getting here? How are they a threat to you if you're already doing the work? Well, these immigrants are buying up gas stations, hotels, and taking all the construction jobs. Listen, construction sites are always hiring, B. Always hiring. I ain't never seen them stop somebody for picking up a stop sign, picking up a road sign. I ain't never seen them be discriminatory and say you can't come in this college. If they do, that's a whole goddamn lawsuit. So I'm trying to figure out how the immigrants and is goddamn the portion of California, but we got a California. Shout out to my homie Diori. Is the portion of California where the immigrants at? Is it that much better than everything else in California? Welcome, Yori, to the BNT talk. We're definitely having this one. Should Black American voted for Larry Elder? Why didn't California want change? Go. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? What's going on? You know, it's I can't I can't really talk about why they didn't want Larry Elder. I mean, for me, I'm a political observer.
Right, right, right.
I'm like I don't get into that whole liberal versus conservative thing because when you really understand how the machines work, um, even the most liberal Californian who is elected to office is conservative enough to get elected. And what I mean by that is if you have a liberal that actually wants single payer health care and homelessness and all these things to be done, then what's going to end up happening in California is the establishment is going to call them crazy because
Mm.
technically Californians or the California political class still likes the lobbyists that have things done a certain way. So on the left, if you push past the barrier, they're going to say that the things that you want to accomplish are impossible. An example of that is what happened to Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary, right? When you say, okay, like we need to change A, B, and C, people are going to say that that stuff is unreasonable. It's unreasonable because the people that actually own the party don't want it to be reasonable yet. Okay,
Right.
so from my perspective, um, it was weird to just watch this election, right?
Hmm.
Because you had Gavin Newsom that was saying that Larry Elder was another version of Trump. Now, for somebody who understands politics like I do, uh, it's always a left versus right situation where
Right.
if you've got somebody on the right wing, you're going to peg them as being as extreme as possible because you know that your constituents don't like that person that they're being compared to, right?
Hmm.
So that's what ended up happening. My issue with Gavin Newsom is there was nothing to be talked about when it came to policy of any sort, whether we're talking about the homelessness population that's exploding in California, whether we're talking about the affordable housing situation, whether we're talking about uh, rehab centers. Like, see, for me, I'm all about policy. So when I hear Larry Elder talking about these things, even though I don't necessarily know uh, whether his thoughts are genuine, I at least like the fact he was talking about them, right?
Hmm.
Because the the part of things I didn't necessarily like were the stuff that he was talking about in terms of the slave master getting reparations and all this. See, so my whole thing is I'm cool with the stuff that he talks about that need to be talked about, but I don't rock with him on the dumb shit that he be talking about just for clicks. Some of the stuff that he be talking about was like that old radio show host that says something incendiary just to get people talking and shit. And so that's why I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch this election and not really participate in it. But
Hmm.
the problem is the Democrats have been so coddled in this state that they can just say certain things without having any policy prescriptions, and for some reason, the machine will do what they need to do to keep them in power, and that's the real issue because when when Gavin Newsom gets back in there, there's not going to be any talk about what we need to do to fix parts of this state. And that has nothing to do with immigrant populations or this, that, and the other. Immigrants are stealing your jobs. Those are red herrings. What we're talking about is the fact that people are coming into a state that's extremely unaffordable. You're coming into a state where business is extremely hard to do because you've got the biggest corporate tax rate for businesses in the country outside of maybe New York. New York's probably got the second biggest one. So what you're doing is you're destroying small businesses by doing what you're doing.
Right.
But we're not going to have that conversation now because the Democrats dodged the bullet and the Republicans were dumb enough to run on fringe issues without really saying, okay, like I'm for what you guys are for, but we need to fix the state. If somebody was actually somebody who was going to run on that situation completely, they probably would have won the state. But the problem is, in terms of people like Larry Elder, is he'll say certain things about fixing the state, but then he'll go back to right wing talking points that really don't have no sway here. We're a left wing state. Like some of those right wing talking points don't got no sway here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just
I
yeah.
now and shout out Yori, like that was really good. Like I said, y'all, it's an open talk. Anybody can come up and have a conversation. It's a respectable conversation. T96 says, shout out to you for that. T96 crime rate is high in CA. I work security. Shout out to you for that. And been told, don't worry, let them take whatever they want. Poop in the streets and needles. Newsome is POS. Like Nancy, they rig for sure. They don't care about CA. Okay, thank you for that, bro. And yes, I agree. That is happening. That is happening. I'm not going to deny you that. I'm not going to deny you that, brother. I I act. The thing about it is, again, and what I'm saying is that I agree wholeheartedly with Iori just said. Like Larry could have possibly won. However, it's just times where Larry is his own. He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
He's his own worst enemy. It's not about, well, the black people didn't vote for me, or they just weren't, or it was rigged. It's when you start saying stuff like, hey man, like plantation masters and shit like that. You're saying that in a place where they done had the goddamn whole damn they done had the whole goddamn riots and shit. So I don't know. If you're trying to racially shame them about certain stuff, that was an incredibly stupid move. You know, majority of population, I'm pretty sure they know the history of their goddamn place. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure. But when you're doing stuff like that, and you get to sometimes I feel like some people stick their foot in the mouth when they start doing left wing, right wing talking points. Just like what he already said, if you would have just stuck to the policy and the problem, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
You would have been fine. Go ahead, brother.
He probably would have shown up better. I mean, he might not have won the state, but it would have been closer. There, there are a lot of people that really don't mess with that slave owner talk, man. Like, I'd be
I would have
one
stayed
of
away
them,
from that.
but at the same time, like you got to be smart enough to understand, like, nah, man, like we passed all that shit. Like we about the agenda here. We already got one party that don't care about agenda. We can't be the other party that don't care about agenda. Like that's common sense. And I'm not even conservative or liberal or whatever. Like I said, I'm a political observer at this point because being being a Green Party member, I
Mhm.
understand what the Democratic Party does to true left wing change. They kill it, you know, and it's see whenever you've got somebody who's actually trying to do something on the left wing, you got a lot of people on the right calling them communists and socialists and Marxists and all this other kind of stuff without them really understanding what those words mean. And then on the left, you've got people that are saying, people having proper health care like we do in 90% of countries is untenable. And part of the reason is because both parties are owned by the medical interests in this country. So obviously, if you're going to say, "Hey, we need to have a single payer system," it it fights against who's getting paid. So it is what it is. We have to get back to a conversation based on the merits of the situation. The
Right.
Democrats don't do that, and neither do the Republicans.
Now, this is the thing I don't get it. they talk about was he brought up about and I saw when you brought up about housing,
Sure.
but then there's also if he's bringing up about affordable housing and different stuff to get back California back on track, and then you have another talk that same night in front of your constituents saying these people are lazy and they want free handouts.
Yeah,
It,
that's
it,
opposite. That's
right.
opposite.
That to me, I was like, wait a second, hold up, Larry. So that to me, I'll talk to you about it later. Like that to me kind of confusing me. You can't in one breath you go on you one in one breath you're on TV talking about hey man like you know local news yeah we're trying to help y'all get affordable housing we're trying to help y'all get down y'all payments so you're talking about helping people fight systematic issues but then you jump on and you guess you forget that he already has a TV or a cell phone. Yeah, these people are lazy. They want handouts. They've been crippled. That these people have been on the plantation for years. You already was
Yeah.
just watching on the local news. Now he's watching you on YouTube saying that these people are lazy and all they want is handouts.
Right. Yeah.
How does that? How does that work?
It doesn't. That's the problem that these guys don't understand. This shit doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't work, bro. But it is what it is. Uh, Look, until we get out of orthodoxy, okay? Like we have a problem in politics where we get so orthodoxy about things that we completely miss the message. And until we stop doing that, um, it's crazy. Like from my side, and I don't even consider me a part of that side anymore. It's probably the same way you don't consider yourself to be mainstream conservative as much as people would consider you to be. Like, I'm not supposed to be here talking to you from a perspective that if I was to take the normal liberal position based on what these dumb people say, I'm not supposed to talk to conservatives, right? But the whole thing is that's when the orthodoxy comes in. And whenever you get into orthodoxy, you start losing people. And that's what Larry Elder just found out. Because his policy prescriptions were fine. And regardless of whether he was going to execute or not, he had a weak enough candidate to the point that he could out hustle that.
Right.
But the thing is, his orthodoxy ruined it. His whole, people are lazy, this, that, and the other, and whatnot. Okay, it's just, it's not really a unifying message, especially considering that you're running in a blue state. Blue state people don't take that stuff.
No.
It doesn't compute there. This isn't like, this isn't Mississippi where all that stuff works. Like, the machine isn't built off of supporting that stuff. This is California.
You know, I look at it as the people in California got it hard enough whenever they be showing pictures of how bad it is. And those are people who could get out or afford to get out. They got out. Those who are like, yo, I'm going to stick it in. I'm not leaving my home. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I think to me, whether you've been red or white or green, it don't matter what party or affiliation, I look at them people as, hey, you stuck it out in the fight.
Yeah.
Because you already know shit. Goddamn, if the billionaires were getting out of goddamn, if the billionaires were getting out of California, they said, fuck y'all, we out. And that was a lot of jobs. So other people they had to hustle. And then you had it where, guess what? They were I mean, y'all been getting hit by a lot of shit. So yes, if you would have stuck to just attacking policies, whether it wouldn't have mattered. Like, listen, like so people like to bring up BMT. Why did you vote for Obama? I said, well, he was bringing up policies like affordable care.
Right.
How's it every other country is getting affordable health care, but we can't have that? And we're supposed to be the top country in the world. So
Right.
shouldn't everybody have health care? Why is it that some people have to go and just tough it out if they're sick? They should be able to go into a hospital or clinic. Mind you, these hospitals and clinics have billions of dollars. They should be able to walk in there and say, "Hey, can I get treated?" No. What are you saying? Why can't I get? It's not even like this. That shouldn't even be a problem. I literally say, "Hey, why do we keep putting trillions of dollars in the military budget?" And I'm a vet. I've been fucked up.
Right.
But I have no problem if we take just two of those trillions of dollars and say, hey man, like we're gonna get some housing and make some bulk rehab programs to get y'all back in the work or try to us. There should be no way that we're more easier putting people into the prison system, but not back into the work system.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But then you're gonna blame this is my problem. You're gonna blame the immigrant that has to come here to work. Like, understand that. Like, this is what I'm saying. Some people don't understand. Like, people who come here from other countries, they have to find a job. Like, literally, for them to get their citizenship, they have to show that they can retain a job.
Yeah.
I see. Look at if you know certain stores, certain places. You know, if they don't close down during holidays, that they're still working.
Yeah.
That's their cash.
Yeah.
And then they leave and bring their BS beliefs to places and that are doing good. Sorry, I mentioned Fed problem. No, you're fine. Like, like I said, like we got a lot of issues, man. We do. And yeah, you brought up a good point, battery. Open border, but Cubans are turned back. Yeah, we understand that. Now here's the thing about it, and I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me tell you a little dirty secret. It's not the poor man or the middle class man hiring the immigrant. It's the rich man. They're hiring them. But they'll tell you, hey, we need to get these immigrants out of here. But now, to be fair, how many of y'all are willing to? If we were to get rid of the immigrants today out of America, how many people would be running to go get their jobs?
Right.
How many people are willing to go do what they do? I'm just asking a fair statement. Some of y'all willing to go. And the thing bad about it is the stigmatism is everybody thinks that they're doing lower tier jobs. That's not true. I've seen some of them working doing electrical work, piping, plumbing, but some of them are actually starting to get into coding and billing in hospitals and clinics. So what used to be that the American dream of working hard and doing a prominent job, now I'm too good for that. I deserve this amount of. Well, it's a process, a system that you work your way up. Everybody had no problem calling the guys from Mexico the goddamn, the pictures of goddamn strawberries. But now their kids are in school. Now their kids are into politics. Now their children are now pushing back. And now you're starting to see them get into political game, banking, finance, real estate investment. I went down to Florida and I sat down with a man from Pakistan. A man from Pakistan owned, I think he owned 3 gas stations. He owned 3 gas stations. And the thing crazy about it was he saved up him and his brother saved up their money to buy into a franchise. And it took them only 9 years. Can I be mad at him? Because they played the long game. 9 years. What were you doing in 9 years? And what are you trying to do? I know a lot of people say, well, they just give them this money. Now, Iori's here, and Iori and me are really good bros. And we could tell you right now, the same paperwork that they filled out, you can go fill out that same damn paperwork. You can. The LLCs are out there every day, B.
Yeah, I want before we get in here, I want to say something. I just read something that T96 said. Uh, he was talking about handouts. I want to kind of say something.
Go ahead,
You
bro.
know, the the biggest guys that get handouts in America aren't the normal people that get handouts. These government contracts with government waste and all this other kind of stuff, or these corporate uh, funding deals. There's plenty of government. There's plenty of handouts to corporations that we don't talk about either. See, what we end up doing is we always end up making normal people the victim of whatever we claim them to be. But what we really have to understand is normal people, whether they do one thing or another, aren't really the problem. But the thing is, you have to basically go ahead and throw somebody under the bus. So what they're going to do is they're going to make normal people always be the people that get thrown under the bus. That's why a lot of times you've got this dividing line between small business people and big business people. You know, small business people most of the time get eaten up by big business people, but it's just a part of whatever it is. There is no such thing as an egalitarian system, even in America, because in America, certain things are built a certain way to function a certain way. So, yeah. To be perfectly honest with you, you probably got more in common with the people that grow up in your neighborhood than you do from somebody else who owns a corporation. So I just want to say that because a lot of times we get into all this stuff without putting it into context. Everybody gets a handout of some sort. It's just that we don't pay attention to who else gets the handout. We go to the lowest common denominator and make the argument based on that lowest common denominator.
Here's the irony about it that I wish some of y'all would know. Most most immigrants vote conservative. I find that very interesting that a lot of people don't know that. Really. A lot of immigrants vote conservative because they're traditional based on family
Right.
and they're on
Yeah,
collective.
that's normal.
That's the interesting thing. When people say that immigrants need to go, a lot of immigrants, if y'all, a lot of immigrants vote conservative. I know y'all. I know it's weird, but a lot of them do. A
Right.
lot of them do. That's just. I can't make. I cannot. If y'all literally were to sit at some of these tables that I sit at, they are heavy about fathers in the home. They are heavy about accountability. They're heavy about picking yourself up by the bootstrap. Hey, I came here. I got to work. Or pretty much my kid is right now going to school, learning how to doggone do blood and do his they're learning financing, coach. I am dead ass serious. If you listen to some of these people, you would think that they've been here since the Great Depression. They are way. It's scary that they are the immigrant is way more Americanized than the actual American.
Well, see, here's the thing. immigrants are like a lot of people kind of, from my perspective, mistake what America really is. What you're supposed to do in America is you're supposed to come here, find out what the niche is, and squeeze all the juice out of your niche.
Right.
So, to be perfectly honest with you, the best thing you could do is to find the industry that's paying the most and jump in that industry and take everything you can out of that industry. Like, America is built on capitalism. Like, period. A lot of people don't understand that because we we sit out here and do what we do. But to be perfectly honest with you, America is built off of making money.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody comes in here saying, okay, like, I can make $200,000 doing this. I can make $100,000 doing this. That's what people do. That's what people do. And ironically, people that think their way through where they're supposed to go and when what they're doing is about to come to an end and when they have to actually pivot to something else, those are the people that actually survive in America. Somebody who's in an industry that's dead and refuses to go into another industry that's got life in it are the ones that always end up feeling like America's not working. But the situation is resources get transitioned from one industry to another. If you don't understand that, America's not going to be good for you because you're going into an industry where there's no juice in it left.
The thing about it is, and like I said, let's peel, let's burn the rubber on. I'm speaking from the black side. That I try to tell people, black people, we battle accountability every day. Okay? People are gonna critique and judge us off of social media, different other shit. And I get the victimology. I battle that every day. There are some things, yes, I call out, but then I also hold my people feet to the fire. Not fucking easy. But god damn it, man, it's dangerous when you knowingly choose to turn a blind eye to some fuck shit and say, "Well, he shoulda." When we already know we have been having systematic issues. Y'all can't say that the system is rigged and fucked up in one breath, but then y'all deny racism and inequality. How the fuck are y'all jumping? Like you jump past 1 and 3, and then you want to talk about level 10. You can't do that. You can't say, "Hey, man, everybody has an equal chance," but then you say the system is rigged, the voting is rigged. So if you're saying one system is rigged and fucked up, doesn't that mean that there's other fucked up and rigged systems?
Right.
Because they're all in the same system, and you didn't build any of them. That's like going. That's like me being a carny at a carnival, and Iori's coming to win a prize. So he's trying to win the game, but I done rigged all the games. Actually, the whole carnival's been damn rigged. That's the thing about being a carny. They rigged this game so you keep on playing. So you can't say, "Well, Larry Elder was cheated," but then Larry Elder can't come back and say, "Well, I was cheated." So what do you think about everybody else that you're saying ain't putting in the fucking work, or that they're being lazy, or that they just want to use victimology? So wouldn't you be playing the victim card? This is where me and Ori get frustrated and say this is the dog chasing his tail and licking his own ass. You can't say well, they're picking on me. But then when you hear the little man, but sorry, Larry, you're a goddamn millionaire. You're not even in the same bracket of problem. You will never be Larry Elder would never be seen on Skid Row at a soup kitchen with y'all. Larry Elder would never be seen walking into Walmart with y'all. That's why I find it very interesting. Some people thought y'all thought he was connecting with y'all. Larry Elder hasn't connected with y'all yet. And listen, I get it. I know some blacks who are disconnected. I know some people who are disconnected from reality. But you can't say you're trying to fix the education system. Guess what? Are you going to be calling out the law, the law enforcement system? Are you going to be calling out the healthcare system? Just say the system. You're going to call out one group. We had it where a man came onto a trolley and stabbed a woman. Well, where was the man at? Why does it fucking matter where the man was at? She got stabbed. Put it there on there. These immigrants are fucking things up. Shit. If it's the immigrant fucking things up, well, god damn it. Newsflash, and I can tell you, but I got somebody who works ground level. Majority of the homeless people, some of them are the immigrants. So if you're talking about, hey, we need to get these homeless people off the street, you're talking about getting immigrants off the street too. You see how you're going full circle with a lot of y'all, a lot of shit. That's why I'm saying, that's why when me and Ori talk about policy, I don't think people actually understand us when we talk about policy.
Right.
You can't say you want people to get to work. Who do you want to get to work? The vendors? The people that work the commute system? I mean, I could have sworn that right now they got people where they picking up trash, needles, and washing down homeless people. Soup kitchen. They're trying to get the education where they can get better programs into the schools.
Right. Shit, man, I can't talk to most people about getting a computer science department in most school systems. Forget about anything else.
I hear you, brother.
And this is really why I become kind of a passive observer of politics in general, because everybody wants to do what they want to do, but the thing is they don't want to do anything. So, but they'll tell you, hey man, I'm about this, I'm about this struggle, I'm about that struggle, without realizing that the way the struggle looks different.
Mm.
Like the struggle used to look like us going and doing things the old way. But the struggle looks different now. These days you got people that don't know anything about future industries. If I could go in and basically talk about certain things and have people raise their hand about what future industries are, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And it's hard for me to tell them, hey man, like go do this. When I know they're not into doing what I'm telling them to do. They're into doing what they already see, and I get that. But the thing is, like, there's going to be a price to pay for some of this stuff, because if you don't get into those industries, somebody else is going to, and then after that, you can't blame those other people for getting into industries you didn't care about.
And shout out to Tool for putting it out there. Now, this was very interesting. And I remember they have a show that came on. It came on Amazon. It was a show. If y'all want to go check it out, it's a show about a black family moving from the South over. It was called the Great Migration. Black. And they moved over from the South to California, and the blacks that moved over there, they were trying to get into housing. But you gotta understand a lot of these things come full circle. So like how Larry talks about housing, a lot of blacks were trying to get in the house, but the banks were playing a deal where they would never be able to catch up with the interest.
Right.
So they were always going to be locked in, and they were always going to have to keep refinancing. And so when you're talking about picking yourself up by the bootstraps, Larry, I can respect you for that. I can. You have two men here. We can respect you for that. But that is the art of being a man. You have to pick yourself up. But please do not forget there was some system along that probably came in to help your parents, help you. I know it was a fucked up system, but they helped them. So would you tell your dad, or you can't shame something that literally that was done to you was done to other people. And sometimes I get it, we hurt. I've had times where I say, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all a little bad habit or trait some people have. When we come from very disparaging areas or parts of society, yes, I don't partake in that type of energy, of energy, because I wanted to get away from that. However, I also understand the art of nature of where I came from. So that way I can tell other people you can build yourself up. You can get up out of there. Here, why don't you go by this grocery store? They're hiring for cashiers right now. Man, Joe, I'm telling you, just get the job. You can get your tax money, save your tax money up. Work a few shifts, get up there, the goddamn shift leader. Save up till you can get a car and you can go venture out further. And guess what? Get a better job. People forget that as an American, it's the goblet of fire to go through the process. You already had to go. Shout out to Yori. I remember when I was going through I just finished up my eye exam, my eye surgery. Now for me, I had to get four of them, four surgeries. Oh man, my eyes burned with fire, but I had to go through the process. I had to go through the process, and I had to tough it out. And
Yeah,
so
I got a few left to go myself whenever I decide to do the rest of
I
it.
hear you. And see, the thing about it is, if you want to get to that higher level in your life, you're going to have to go process, put in the work. Am I going to say Larry talking points were bad? I won't say that because I listened to Larry Elder before quite a few times. He's brought up a lot of good points. It's just the fact that when they start getting into the red versus blue versus us versus everything, when you start getting into that, you forget, Larry, you're still a Californian. You still are. And when you came to California, what? You were an immigrant because you wasn't from California. And you weren't accepted. See, you see what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't accepted. These are those areas, you're not perfect perceived very well. So the same people you're talking about, hey, they take a job. What did you think about they thought about your parents? What do you think that they thought about you as a child being there?
Right.
Just being honest. Then we got down two down there. I'll drop it right there for a few more minutes. But it's very interesting. Elder would make it hard in people. I guess for people of color. You know. Um, like I said, I'm just saying to a lot of people, that I guess people believe that because I, as a black man, if somebody asks me, well, if you're pro-black BMT, but I don't know why y'all keep on throwing that card at me. They really don't listen to me. Like even my homie will tell you, like BMT is not that type of conservative. I think where
Yeah.
Uri is a Green Party. He's heavy with. He'll hear out both sides, but he's listening to keywords of policy. It doesn't match up. You're like, okay, I need to back up.
Right. I mean, look, from my perspective as a Green Party liberal, uh, I pay attention to being part of the Green Party more than I pay attention to being part of the liberal side. But the whole thing is the country functions on policy. Don't function on anything. The country does not function on rhetoric. It functions on policy. Malcolm X said there's no such thing as uh, permanent friends or permanent enemies. We have permanent interests.
Mhm.
So that's the whole point that a lot of people miss.
Mm.
What's in the best interest in terms of policy, in terms of what we're doing? That's really what it is. Is it to nation build and do what we've been doing for the last 20 years, or is it best to actually find out, okay, these are the breakages in our country, in our particular society, and we need to do something about it. And the nation building thing gets thrown on conservatives a lot, but as far as I'm concerned, there are plenty of liberals that nation built too. So nation building is a bipartisan activity as long as you're a part of it.
Shout out to Queen Mayat who gave me the inspiration for doing this show. She said, "You got to stop this notion that someone or something can make it hard for black people when black people make it hard for themselves." So what? And okay,
So
so
what?
wouldn't that be
And
everybody?
okay, so what did I do? Everybody.
That that would pretty much be everybody.
Here's
Hey, what's going on, Datu? Queen Maya, you're welcome to come up. Come
here's
on
the
up,
thing.
dude.
God,
Here's the thing, MT. I'm
it's
speaking.
been a minute, man.
If trying to, okay.
Only thing with high level immigration here in California is that other minorities who came here as refugee asylee here on work visas, etc. Well, they are the competition for black and brown. I mean, I like I said, like, listen, I'm gonna say this. I bet you if I were to go to California right now, I know why I bump into most of the immigrants in. I'm gonna meet them at Walmart. I'm gonna meet them at McDonald's. I'm not gonna meet them at no high frequency job. I might get lucky and meet them at a plant. I probably meet them at a like they're gonna work those types of jobs. Like they're gonna work those types of jobs. They're gonna work the jobs that they need the work bodies, like industrial jobs. But then again, so can you. Now the job is the job. Whether you choose to take that job, I worked as a TLE. You know what I'm saying? Queen Maya, you are welcome to come up. Everybody's welcome to come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys saying like it's a doggy dog world. I've been working Bay Area, and I see how employers prefer to hire the Filipino or Indian over black. Ooh, Hmm. Now, are people challenging? I'm talking rad tech, nursing, med tech, etc. Allied. We gotta one day sit down sometime, man. You know, I work for a popular union here.
Okay.
Now, if this is happening the way it's okay, and I'm not saying that I'm on the outside. I'm on the outside. I wonder if they're choosing to hire the Filipinos. And I know Datu's now he's triggered, but he's like, hey, what the hell? Now he said, I'm in the Bay Area. It's diverse, and everyone gets work who wants it. Now, if it's like that, everyone who gets work that wants it, and one person says that they're being discriminatory of work. That's something that needs to be brought forward about that job. Now, it's amazing because these cameras work, and I'm not saying Tool is making that up, but if Iori's place of work is only discriminatorily hiring just a certain group, y'all need to bring that up to the labor board.
Right.
Y'all need that ain't something that ain't something that you need to bring to the state. You need to bring that to the labor board. Say, yo, this is workplace discrimination. And when they start to look at, yo, so why y'all? Because you can't throw away a resume. That's against the law. Look, last time I said, anywhere you go, you can't throw away resumes because they have to be able to show, like, hey, there's a lot of people that have been coming here to apply at Iori's Tech. And if Iori's been thrown away, like, hey, man, why are you not hiring these people? What are the qualifications?
Right.
You know,
Go ahead, B.
go ahead, Iori.
Go ahead. No, I was just waiting for you to finish your
I'm
statement.
saying, like, you got to ask first of all, what are the qualifications that they're looking for? I got letting a lot of people know. Listen, you're not going to just walk in off of just race alone. They're looking for certain credentials. You know, I, what I'm saying, in the time I done did uh some of my projects. Yeah, I would want to take on some brothers. I would, I would. However, I sometimes I need the best man for the job. And if I know this man, he can doggone do drywall. He know how to get around dealing with a buzzsaw. He know how to drill and get stuff done. If he got three gifts or three skills under his belt versus that one black man only had one, I know y'all gonna hate to hear this, but I need that man with three. That's literally a 3 man. He's literally a 3 man army versus that one guy. I have to teach.
Right.
And I'm just saying, like some of these people that are coming to these jobs already have the work experience. This is something that a lot of people don't want to actually talk about. A lot of these people that are coming in, either they have somebody already in there, or they already have somebody, or they already have the work experience, and they're just laterally traversing over. Like it's the workforce is a competitive. It's a competitive battleground, and the thing about it is, some people when they get in there, they're not trying to move up, or they're not trying to show the best of their workmanship. Go ahead, Uri. Again, this is open panel. Not many blacks in the Bay. Few in Oakland and Richmond. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Like California has been changed. The ethnicity of California, the Hispanics, the Filipinos, the blacks, the Indians, a lot of the diversity portions are actually starting to mix and start to migrate in different areas where people think that the blacks used to be in Oakland, they're not there like that. They're really not. From what I'm hearing, they've kind of left. They're in other areas.
Right.
Like that's like saying the blacks are in Brooklyn. But then if you ask people in Brooklyn, they'll say the blacks been to the left. It's called gentrification. Go
You
ahead,
know,
yo.
I wanna say something.
Go ahead.
Like from a corporate perspective, right? We we both know from a corporate perspective that the corporate game, regardless of whether you're in any sort of high income field, the stuff doesn't last forever because everybody is on the chopping block at one point. You were talking about the the guys that own their own convenience stores and this, that, and the other, right?
Uh-huh.
The way that goes in a lot of ways is a lot of these guys get into these knowledge industries, engineering, uh, programming, softwares, etc. And when they get in there, a lot of them are in the medical field too.
Oh, talk about it.
They understand that this stuff ain't forever. They understand that very quickly. So what ends up happening, and I'm going to tell you guys this, um, is there's a battle plan that's out there saying, okay, like we're either going to go into industry A, B, or C relating to ownership. I don't really want to work in Silicon Valley forever. So I know the five of you guys don't. So let's figure out a way to get out of working a big corporate job. And what we'll do is we'll either go and start a startup in tech where
Right.
we'll run stuff because we know that we ain't ever going to run stuff in a white corporation like that. The the odds are low. We'll either start a startup or what we'll do is the five of us will pool our money together and buy convenience stores and buy gas stations. This whole thing, and I understand that people always want to get jobs because that's how most people are thought to think about things. But no particular job is ever going to last forever because the fundamental realities on the ground are always going to change.
Right.
You're in there today. You're out the door tomorrow, because the way that the corporation works is they're always looking for people to actually quote unquote from their perspective. I'm not saying it's true, but remember, the rules are made by the people that own the shit.
Right.
People are always going to look for people that are quote unquote more productive. That means they work longer without dealing with shit. They're always going to look for people that are, I said more productive, more efficient. More efficient can mean that they're more efficient or they're more financially efficient for the corporation, which means they can pay you a little bit less, they can get away with more. See, a corporation's always looking to figure out who they can get in there that they can get the most out of. And in a lot of these corporations, seniority is the easiest way out the door because you get paid more, which means you cost more to the corporation. So a lot of times, I think the way forward is for people to build businesses that employ other people that look like them. But the thing is, a lot of times we don't talk about that. So, that's just one thing that ends up happening. And a lot of these guys that end up getting gas stations and whatnot, they just get sick and tired of working in places where they don't have any ownership.
Right.
So that's why they leave and figure out a way to get ownership.
I think one of the things about it, brother, and again, this is open conversation for anybody. Shout out for already holding it down. I know Datu tried to come up. No signal. Like sometimes you guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. There's been a few jobs I wanted, but I can't get because I'm like, I didn't have the, how do you say, the paperwork under my belt. And so what simply one person told me was, hey, come back when you get the paperwork. It was that simple. Were they being a jerk about it? No. They weren't being a jerk about it. They were just telling me what it is. That I would hire you, but there's somebody better qualified for the job. And I took it and I learned from it. That's all there is to it. I took it and I learned from it. It's a competitive market. And then I saw a guy that came there. He had to be like 24, 25. And I asked him one day, but I saw him at another parking lot. He was coming in there, dicky pants, collar shirt. I said, "How did you get the job?" Like, he said, "Oh, I've always been working on apps and apps since I've been a kid, and it's just a hobby."
He's
Also,
got the pedigree.
Right. So he's always, what I've been doing just in the military could not surmount that this kid already had the ingenuity practice since he was a child. He was already doing it. We laugh at some people when we see their kids behind the register. My favorite place I like to go to is called Golden Dragon. That little girl has been working that since she was in middle school behind there. She could probably tell me every position from taking out the grease on those rainy nights in that trash bag and throwing it in the greaser, to sweeping the parking lot, cleaning the bathroom, to everything, and still getting her pay. I think she was already in college. She was already doing college work at 10th grade. But her work experience is way years ahead. Now, can I honestly get mad and say, well, she's locking out brown people and black people? No. Some people are just getting jump starts ahead. People that are coming here to America, y'all think they don't got no skills? Y'all think that you think they don't know what they're doing? Yeah, when y'all, that's why when y'all have these talking points, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna say it like I said, that was a bitch move. Larry Elder talking about slavery and all that shit.
Yeah, it was.
Why? Were you gonna talk about the Chinese? Were you gonna talk about the Chinese and building the railroad tracks?
That's right.
Were you gonna talk about the Irish?
That's right.
So why bring up the blacks? And if any conservative don't want to call that shit out, then guess what? You're a fucking problem too.
That's right.
There's a lot of people that came to California for a better way of life. And a lot of them got discriminated against, got mistreated, got abused, got killed. A lot of them had issues. We just had it after 9/11. The Muslim community was getting harassed. I helped a sheik. He said, "Hey man, can you help me paint my?" Do you know how many times they done egged their doggone mosque or sprayed? Get the fuck out of here. Granted, his wife worked at the city hall doing notaries. His son was going to the police academy. But because they were different and because they had a different belief, that they did not fit the American mold. Huh? So what is it then? You can't say you're for America, but then you got a problem with everybody else competing in the American dream. So what the fuck is the American dream then? Let me know. I just listen when I go on the base and I see those Filipino girls, women right there bagging my groceries and shit. Do I get mad? Uh-oh, somebody's stealing a black person's job. No. They're just using the opportunities given before them to work. And I got no problem with anybody trying to work. If you got to flip burgers, flip goddamn burgers. If you got to goddamn be out there and pick up trash at goddamn 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, y'all like that damn Drake song with him and Future working multiple jobs and shit. What are you willing to do to get your dream off the ground? That's what I'm saying. Like I work. I think I probably sleep at least about 6 hours a day. I sleep 6 hours a day. The other part of the time, Yori would tell you I'm out working. And I am military retired. Y'all can't say, well, black ain't accountable. Guess what? There's a lot of motherfuckers out there hustling. I don't listen. I don't jock on nobody if they're out there busting their ass. But if there's fuckery and bullshit going on, yeah, it's my job as an American or as a citizen or as somebody participating. It's my job to call out the play that somebody's cheating on the field. Hey, hey, the person's cheating, dude. Ref, are you gonna call that? If not that, then we need to take a picture. We need to go ahead and get this up to the top. If they're doing stuff that is illegal of keeping people out, hey, take that to the labor union. Hey man, I applied to this job 3 times. Why ain't they allowing me to work there? Now that job has to prove why they will not take your application. But somehow this person can get in. How do I know? I'm telling y'all how the world works. Some things can be handled at the grassroots level. That's all I gotta say. But other
Yeah,
than that, we talked to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Queen Maya, you didn't come up here. Here in California is so scared to fight the system. Um, y'all, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we definitely
I
want
hear that. I hear that. I just read that last comment.
the last one.
It's yeah, it's daunting for sure. It's daunting for sure. But, I'm gonna say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Go ahead, bro.
we need to set people up to get into the grassroots levels of brand new industries because it's easy to get in there. the levels of competition are low. Like in IT, okay, I'm gonna actually throw out some specifics. I'm not gonna talk about things in vast generalities. In IT, if you get 2 to 3 certificates, you can do it on one. If you get the A plus, the network plus, and the security plus, but if you were just to get the A plus, okay, A plus is IT help desk. It's the bottom of the barrel. You're gonna get paid $20 an hour just to answer calls and solve basic problems. Okay, my hard drive went out. What do I do? I'm not getting monitor signal. What do I do? My computer's making this kind of noise and it's doing this. What do I do? Level 1 support, right? That's not $100,000 an hour, $100,000 a year job, but it's a $40,000 to $50,000 a year job. We
Got
need
to
to
start
get
somewhere.
we need to get the youngest people in there, because the biggest thing is a lot of people talk about stuff, but they don't understand the importance of being in the room and understanding what the hierarchy of an industry is. In that room, you've got yourself being a level 1, you got the person above you being a level 2, then you got the person above them being a level 3 admin. And it's important to see people who start as a level 1 be in the room to understand how to get to a level 3. But when I talk about that in a lot of ways in this space, a lot of people say, that's a good job, but we still need more black doctors and black physicians and stuff like that. And from my perspective, I get what they're saying, but everybody can't be a part of one industry. You still gonna have to have
Right.
The distribution of labor be a part of a lot of different industries. It's like, okay, like now all of a sudden when we see Barack Obama be president, all of a sudden everybody thinks they can be president. I'm cool with that aspiration, but the thing is, there ain't nothing wrong with being a senator. There ain't nothing wrong with being a House of Representatives. You've got to be able to get what you need to get in the easiest way possible sometimes. As long as and to be perfectly honest with you, we have to really be aware of people that are kind of anti trades and anti working class, because there's nothing wrong with somebody being able to work with their hands and making the type of money that they need to support themselves and support their family. A lot of times we get into this shiny object syndrome, and it really doesn't lead to anything. We need to get as many people that need to get somewhere in those roles, because that's what's really going to make things be different. Because all of a sudden, if you've got someone in that role who's making $50,000, you can have 5 other people that he knows get in that same role, because he knows how to get in already. And then within a decade, you'll have things look completely different. But it's a matter of the fact that it's not going to take 10 days, it's going to take 10 years.
One of the things about it, and this is why me and you click very well, because again, like we talk, like we're clapping at why Larry Elder, and again, people are welcome to talk with us. Drop the link. It's a process. Thinking that just because Larry Elder is black, I should vote for him. You're dumb. Incredibly stupid. It's called a Trojan horse. Just because you look like me doesn't mean you're for me.
Right.
And when you say something egregious that goes against that of something that could be detrimental towards what we're trying to do, you can't get on and say that you're trying to fix the system, but then shame and shun people, especially in a blue state that literally already understand that, guess what? We have systematic issues. But so which one is it, man? So you already done showed. This is why it's hard sometimes for radio personality, because you don't know what kind of radio, you don't know who you dealing with. You don't know how to turn off that personality.
Right.
Again, I like Larry Elder. I think he has a really good radio personality, showmanship. But Larry, you're not a politician. You're not a politician. You know how to talk on the radio, and when you get your ass off, you go do an interview, you switch up. But you're talking about dealing with people's lives. And the people watch. People watch, man. So what you said I could probably be sitting down at work with Iori on lunch break, listening to you on the local news. And when I go home and I watch you on Fox or whatever shit, and they're talking about Democrats, and I'm like, hold up, bro. My mama's a Democrat. Who you talking about? Wait a second. My auntie and us, they literally just put my kids in and help them get free lunch. Who you talking about? When you're talking about unaccountability, who you talking about? See, I don't think you understand. The same people you talking about you were helping, you're also shitting on them in the next sentence. And y'all can't say, well, BMT, you're making this up, man. Am I? Because literally, we could pull it up. Same day, you would do different interviews. So you technically were shooting yourself in the foot. If you would have just stuck to policy and only just did your interviews on just policy alone and just kept it on policy, again, you would have probably beat Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
But everybody's been crying about, yo, man, we need something better. But what we don't need is somebody, goddamn, we know a politician line, but damn it, man, we don't know what we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
I know what to expect from that devil. See, there's a difference. Let me tell you this. It's familiarity is a lot easier. But a lot of people say, well, why did they just vote for Biden over Trump? Okay, I'm gonna show you. See, we've had Biden for years. We had his crazy ass for years. We had literally the same administration that rolled with Biden and Obama. They're rolling with the same team. So it's familiarity. So that's why they say, well, shit, we might as well go right back to that. I know what to expect from that. See, I know what to expect from that piece of shit. But what I don't have time is to restart myself back on a new job with another piece of shit. At least if Iori says, you guys are doing great, but I know damn well we already done see the email and say, I don't fuck with these people. We're used to that. Cool. Whatever. As long as he pays me my check. But when you get on and you discourage and disparage the same people that are fighting the same fight that your parents and people that helped you come up, when you discourage them, then what does that make you? And see, that's where I get a problem with fellow conservatives. Because you can't at one breath talk about pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, guess what you have to do when you're fixing your bootstraps? You have to take a knee and lower yourself and humble yourself to tie your bootstraps. So when you take that knee and you lower yourself to the ground, guess what? You're low to a child's level. You're low to the ground. You have to look down at what you're doing. But if you are too good to where you don't have to lower yourself to tie and pick up your bootstraps, I can't fuck with you. But some of these people don't even have bootstraps. So many people are just now are wearing sandals. So all the talking points about the single mother thing, newsflash, motherfucker, California is filled up with single mothers. So you're not talking about just black people. You're talking about everybody. You shouldn't have said, well, black people. You should have said Californians have a single mother issue. When you were talking about affordable housing, newsflash, you should have said Californians have a housing issue. Because last time I checked, the single adolescent is struggling just like the family is struggling. You see how I can help you with this, man. You should have had me on your goddamn team. I could have helped you. You should have had Yori on your team. We could have helped you. You shouldn't have made it specifically directed at people. You should have just said California. You probably would have goddamn won the goddamn thing.
See, I'm gonna say this. It's weird that we're talking about Larry Elder because there are redeeming qualities of his story. Like when he goes and talks about his dad that worked 4 jobs and all this other kind of stuff, and he was able to do what he was supposed to do. What he could have done is he could have said, "Look, I see my father in all of you. If my father did it, I know everybody here can do it. And I'm going to be the person that's going to make it be one of those things where people like my father that I see here are going to be able to make it." That's what the linchpin of his message should have been. Because to be perfectly honest with you, bro, a lot of people out here are hurting. The reason that Newsom was primary is because he's what we would call a wine club liberal. Literal. The dude hangs out with pharmaceutical lobbyists and this lobbyist and that lobbyist and whatever. He's an ivory tower liberal. You know, his he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew, super bought into the political machine. So people already know that he's not somebody who really gives a shit about them. All you got to do is go to LA and look at these homeless villages, and you'll know that. But the thing is, ironically, that's what Obama was so good at. Obviously, he was kind of a con man because after he got into office, he was the guy that bailed out the banks, which destroyed home ownership and business, most of it being black home ownership and black business. I mean, black people got hurt the most. But the thing is, from a campaign perspective, you were overdosed on hope and change and all that kind of stuff. That's what you're supposed to do as a politician who's campaigning. A lot of people out here are hurting and they need that inspiration. And he could have done that. Instead, he went into some other shit that really didn't have no play out here. It is what it is.
Sometimes, again, y'all, this is not us attacking your politician. We're only giving you an observation. If he had played it correctly, he probably would have been fine. Just being honest. If he had played it correctly, he would have been fine. He had the key. He had the keys because he had the making of making a superhero. He had the immigrant experience. He had the housing experience. He had all the experience and talking points. But when you start shaming the same thing that you are,
Right.
but you want to say, let me say it like this. That's like an Asian American shaming Asians that are coming over here. They would say, well, who are you? How did you think you got to your position? How did you think have you forgotten how you got there? That's like when an Indian is running for district, but they start saying, hey, you guys are taking up all the businesses. Then they say, well, shit, then who's financially backing you? Who's helping you? You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's like people not understanding their superhero origin story, but then they shitting on how they became a superhero.
That's right. That's right.
So are you dealing with your own self denial issues? Because if your daddy and your mama works for a job and you're hearing that it's hard for just the person that's there to goddamn get for a job, I mean just get hold down two jobs and still be able to pay ends meet. So what are you gonna what you should have been telling, like you already said, you should have you should have looked at that woman like your mama. You should have looked at them men like your father. You should have looked at the people that were struggling like, yo, this is what we do. So I get you. But I'm gonna be for real. That's usually how politicians win when they say, hey man, I literally came from where you come from. That's how a union president becomes union president. Because they went through the process. And everybody said, hey, everybody knows Frank. Frank was there down in the slums with us. So they're gonna push Frank because Frank is us. Larry, you could have said, hey y'all, I was Larry, little Larry was that kid, just like your kid getting free lunch. Little Larry, the same person having to stay at the next door neighbor's house because guess what? My mom couldn't afford daycare. And I never saw my parents. So we need to make jobs more better to where y'all can have health care as well as viable income. Not tell them, hey, you need to go do better. No shit. If we all could do better, we all would be trying to go do better and get 6-figure jobs. But I'm done, you guys. Shout out to Yori. Shout out to everyone that came through. So go ahead and hang us up in your room. Shout out to everyone who came through. Okay. Everyone who came through. I'm BMT with my homie Iori. We did a really good job. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Peace. I have to go get some other paperwork done. Boy, time for the next time. And thank you guys for coming out. Like the video, share the video, and tell us in the comments how y'all think. And we'll definitely have other future conversations. Please. Do we think he might have been afraid of coming off as too relatable? Honestly, I would say this. You want to know what makes a good hero? Or what honestly makes a good hero or something that is worth it is that you can relate.
Yeah.
What makes it easier for me to deal, or actually what makes me Iori a good team whenever we talk about certain shows and different platforms is we can relate our come up of our work ethic and policy and ideologies. So people that you can relate to, you can easily support because you understand them and they understand you. And so the translation is, I want to keep the message of what we have going.
Right. Yeah.
Keyword. That's why certain ethnicity groups push their relatable talking points with the person that best can relate to them. A Latin person is going to push predominantly a Latin person. Why? Because guess what? He can relate to him, but his family will remind him, hey, don't forget where you came from. Do not forget how we got here. Art, where were you at, bro? Art, if you say you coming up, I will keep this going.
Oh shit! What's good, man? Shit.
I will listen. I will only go. I will only go longer for that if it's Art. Art, if you're gonna be in the chat, I'll keep it going. Okay, you work.
Okay, he's working.
You luck. Y'all got lucky, boys. Y'all
Hey
about to
yo,
hear
I
some
wanna
guns.
I wanna say something to Art.
Go
Yo,
ahead.
Art, wasn't I telling everybody about IT, bro? I said it on your stream, bro. I've been saying this for 3 years now. I was talking about how it's important for everybody to get in the room. Art knows. I said it on his stream. He knows
I,
about this.
I'm about to fire up the next stream about.
Oh, he releases his students in 2 minutes.
Don't worry, I got you. I got you. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll keep it going. I'm gonna keep this going. I'm just gonna go into the next one. I'm just going to the next one. Fine. Because I love y'all. I was writing out this. I write for different shows and channels and stuff. One of my little hobbies. And one of the biggest issues, I feel like, where black politicians or certain black people feel that, is that they don't know how to, they've forgotten their relationship or how to relate. I look at it profoundly when Tool brought about there's a show that talks about how the blacks that migrated to California, how hard they had it. Now I know some people are gonna say, y'all quit that victimology shit. No, it's not victimology. This is literally just history. This is fact. This is fact. I grew up in the 80s crack era. I've seen what the system has done to people. And when some people say, hey man, I need help, they got slapped with goddamn silver bracelets. Get that junkie off the street. Versus, hey man, we probably need to get them into a hospital. But then you have it where somebody will say, all we do is complain and go on a plantation. We need to pick ourselves up by the bootstrap. And as I was writing this thing, I got frustrated, man. Shout out to Art. It was a good talk. He had a very powerful message. There was a doctor on there last night. I very much enjoyed the program. You know, it's you can go check it on the show. Art, if you want to drop it in there. But I was told, because again, some people said, well, BMT, you're pro-black. Why did you not vote? Or why would you and other black people not want to vote for Larry Elder? Ain't y'all want to be black? Ain't y'all want to just vote for him? Well, I said, well, can you relate to Little Nas X then? Little Nas X don't represent me.
That's right.
No offense, but Larry Elder wasn't representing me. We have this notion that just because you look like me, you can relate to me, or you want to relate to me. And that's dangerous. We're joined here by one of my professors of the arts of YouTube, the great Art Mustafa.
Hello, gentlemen. How's it going, y'all?
How's it going?
I just got through gargling Listerine. I do that between lunch and after school.
hmm
So it's my lunch break right now.
We,
So what I miss?
well, it was brought upon us. Why did blacks not support Larry Elder as they should? And why is it that Larry Elder has a problem, or certain blacks, when they get to a certain level, have a problem relating to other black people in a different situation?
So that was the
Oh yeah.
or the
Oh look.
topic.
Yep. You actually missed. I'm glad you missed the argument. Uh, Last night when I got off your channel, that was the big argument. Why y'all supposed to be pro-black? Why ain't y'all supporting Larry Elder? Like y'all support Obama?
So that means pro-black supposed to support Clarence Thomas
Yep.
That's right.
and really
They don't matter who they are. We just support them.
Diamond and Silk. They
Yep.
supposed to support Diamond and Silk.
Yep. Brandon Tatum, ABL.
Brandon.
ABL.
ABL.
Boy, everybody getting catch.
Okay, sometimes you just got to let the wind blow, man. Because my whole thing, disingenuousness is. I think you get paid with that. You know, people don't understand if you can be disingenuous and sell it, that means you did your job. So Larry's been going hard in the paint for the opposite side. And when I say opposite side, it's not just for white people in general. It's the people that don't want black folks to succeed. That's what we keep talking about. It ain't no anti-white thing. It's more like, hey, you're caping. It's damn near like he capes for the KKK, but they just don't say KKK. But it's people that have the same ideology as the KKK. He sort of like fights for their rights, and we're like, really? I mean, do they need people to fight for their rights?
Mm.
I'm just, it's.
Now, I got to learn something about his back history. And this is why, as I had to write this paper, I feel like I'm in college when I be writing these papers. Why is it if he had such a hard upcoming, like parents migrated over there, um, for working 4 jobs and stuff, X, Y, and Z. Why is it that he can't relate to that of the endurance, but it seems more like he shames it and shits on it. Like, you're lazy, y'all be banking off the system, y'all. Why does he shame that of something of the endurance that literally his family had to go through? Why does
Follow
he
the
shame
money. Follow the money.
Jesus Christ?
Follow the money. I mean that's America's pastime. So he found a niche, and I have a lot of you know, I would say a lot of white friends that are on the right that like him. Candace Owens, right? I had one that was courageous because usually when I ask him like, what is he saying that that makes you like him, and they get quiet. But one was like giving me stuff like personal responsibility. I said, who does that apply to?
That's right.
He said, all of us.
That's
And I was like, but he's always talking about us as though he's finger wagging. Like we got a lot of I mean, the black community or just black people in general don't even know. Um, how can I say? We have no responsibility. We have no children. We have no families. He's not being what's the word I'm looking for? Definitive. You know, so it's kind of interesting how he run for governor, though. I don't think they expected him to win anyway.
Mhm.
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah, they had to run somebody out there, bro. That's
yeah,
and he was the guy that had the biggest name recognition. It's just it's weird
right. Come in.
because coming from a liberal perspective, and you're in California too,
Right.
you know how beatable Gavin Newsom is considering what he's not doing.
Yeah, like they said, it's the devil you know, and the devil. What's the? How do you say it?
Yeah, I told you, if you go war with
The,
the familiar
the
devil.
devil you know versus the devil that you don't.
Right, exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
now I got something. I got a confession to tell you. I'm scared to be a conservative. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm, I'm
they changed the meaning. It really changed the meaning.
and I'm being serious. I even brought this up last night. And some people say, "Well, BMT, you're not a conservative." I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared to be one
Yeah.
because of how I hear how conservatives talk about what is me frightens me. Because if you would say that about me in my face, what do you say about me behind closed doors? And so
Well,
that's and I'm being honest. Like that's
right.
why for being I thought you for family, and I thought you for this and that, and I'm like, no, I don't want that no more. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Right.
I used to be I used to say I was a conservative. I don't want to. I don't even say that no more.
Yeah, you just got to change it. Just say that I'm not politically conservative, but I am conservative.
See, I don't know if you can say that now. Either art or shit. Only so long before that gets contorted. That's why I just say I'm just a black man.
Because if I would say that, I would even say it and then give bullet points. Because some people are just a little slow, man. Some people are just too slow. Because they feel usually when you say things, they usually fill in your blanks.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I get tired of that, So I have to like lay out everything, and
Right.
then I'm like, if you didn't understand, just listen to the playback, you know. Matter of fact, I got that from my students. I'm like, I got a YouTube channel specifically for my class. I'm like, okay, if you don't understand, just go to my YouTube channel.
It's interesting that you're saying that you're afraid of calling yourself a conservative. I'm afraid of calling myself a liberal because I don't look at anything that these people do, at least in where I'm from, to be anything close to being liberal. I just look at them as being corporatists. They're
Hmm.
corporatists. They're they're not liberal. They're not
Yeah.
liberal. Like these guys have had a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House, a Democratic legislature, and not one thing that they claim to be progressive is on the ballot or on the docket for anything to happen.
Hmm.
We've got an exploding homeless population. We've got people that don't have proper health care, don't have proper housing. These people have been in power for 20 years. Jerry Brown for 8, him for 4. Like 90% of the time, the Democrats are in power. And
Yeah.
you gotta wonder what any of this shit is doing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no excuse now. See, on the national level, the Democrats can always say, "Oh, the Republicans blocked us." You can't say that in California. You got a
Mm.
Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, a Democratic legislature, a Democratic state Supreme Court, and a Democratic governor, and you don't got nothing happening.
Hmm. Yeah, because you have a lot of liberal corporate people
Yeah,
that people don't understand because they think if you're liberal, you're wearing like the Tom shoes with the oatmeal hoodie, and you barely got some money, and you want to feed the homeless. No, man, that's not all liberal people.
now, liberal. Most of these upper class liberals. Shout out to Chris Hedges. I'm not going to say I figured this out. I heard him saying it. He said the Harvard intelligentsia loves the poor but hates the smell of the poor,
Mm.
and that really uh, rings true when you see what you see in LA and Northern California and all these other places.
Because isn't Santa Monica considered liberal?
Yeah, it is.
But but look when you go there, it's like, huh? 'Cause they look at me like, what are you doing here? And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you guys supposed to be liberal,
Well, whatever liberal means these days, right?
right? You know, I laugh about this one. Have you been to the Whole Foods on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood?
I have not.
Okay, so there's no secret as far as how many alphabets are represented in Hollywood. Okay,
Sure.
so that goes the same for Whole Foods. Whole Foods got nothing. Damn, the whole Whole Foods there got nothing but stuff for all immune system type stuff. Everything, cookies for your immune system, salad dressing for your immune system,
Oh,
creams for your dude, everything in there, right?
yeah.
Immune system. If you want to watch out for your immune system, go to the Whole Foods out there. I promise you, you find anything over there. But the thing is that the alphabet people in there, they looked at me like I was out of place. It looked like the old 50s, the American 50s or so. Like, what is your kind doing here?
Right.
And I'm sitting there like I know this look,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying is
And
that.
this is
Mhm.
supposed to be in a liberal city in a liberal
Thank you,
state, right?
thank you, exactly, man. So I'm like, I ain't looking for no trouble. I just wanted to get some. At the time, I was getting this stuff for inflammation, and I know they had it there, but it's on both sides, man. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's
It's
that,
not
that,
just on
that
one.
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Look, and I talked about this with BMT. The moment you start really going after what we really should be doing, you've got the Republicans calling you a socialist and a communist and everything else like that, and then you got the Democrats saying you unreasonable. So, so come on, man. And that's exactly why I'm a Green Party progressive, because the only thing I give a shit about is politics. I don't give a shit about nothing else. Period. You know.
Yeah, I just listen for instructions, for whoever has the best interest of, where I come from at heart, so wherever they're going, I just become the team player to make sure that's the direction that we are going as a family, then I'm going to go there. If it's Republican, if it's Democrat, if it's green, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
especially in the community, especially in the community. So if we can do that, I think that's matter of fact. I come from that background. Oh, that's it. Okay, my students leaving. I come from that background, you know, and I'm like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to at least grasp the concept. Because when what's his name, Dr. Randy Short, was it him or somebody else? They were talking about most of the time when we're dealing with politics, it's usually that was BGS. It's usually emotion in politics. I don't like even my dad. My dad is a very strong, staunch Republican. But the way that he feels about someone, he don't even want to listen to what they have to say.
That
You
that's
know.
that's one of my like I said, I used to love. I stopped listening to music. I used to just love getting in my car, just driving, and listening to conservative talk radio, listening to like blacks need to do this and we need to do that. And after a while, I said, why am I so comfortable listening to this?
Right.
Why am I so comfortable hearing it? Like I have to start asking myself, and I talk to any conservative or anybody who is, you know, because what really started freaking out was the MAGA shit. I'm gonna be for real. That started freaking me the fuck out. But I'm like, whoa, this is some super goddamn shit that I wasn't accountable for. Like, listen, I want accountability, but not like this. I want my women to be held accountable. I want my men to be better. But I'm not about to get on a podium and start whipping and spitting. I'm not about to be that goddamn Sambo taking that whip and cracking it on my fellow people's back.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather you just shoot me in the back of my head. And see, that's what I feel like when I see certain little peanut gallery shows. I always get that imagery of them strumming up our plight to a wagon wheel and they're whipping us in the back for the enjoyment of other people. And I wanted to have that imagery just like when Denzel was strummed up on the back, strummed up on that. Y'all remember that on Glory? If y'all never seen that movie, go watch Glory.
Oh, with a tear.
Yeah. And what did Denzel get whipped for? Just going to go get some boots.
Yeah.
All he wanted, he was like, hey, I'm good enough. I'm good enough to die for them, but I'm not good enough to get some boots, some decent pair of boots. And so that right here is when I have a problem with Mr. Elder and other people like Clarence, and different other people, the Brandon Tatum, the ABLs, and all the other people. See, this is when I can no longer relate to certain talking points anymore. Because you're strumming up a brother like Art and whipping him for something that you might have internally going on. You're strumming up and you're attacking my brother DC. You're strumming up and attacking certain men and women that are putting in the work, that are not like believe it or not. Listen, it's only a small percentage of black people that are down doing the fucking. So why do we keep saying black people? Why don't you just call out that group of people? There's a difference between the niggas and the blacks. There's a difference. Do y'all assume the triad and the Chinese are all the same? No, they said that's the triad. Don't confuse us with them. I go to work. That motherfucker go right there. He's selling opium.
That's right. That's right.
So I hate that. I hate that we do that to our that we do. We got to get off that goddamn preacher platform, man. That shit. That's why when I saw that shit, damn, I almost threw my phone in the field when I heard Larry say, "Hey, the slave masters' children should get reparations, just like the slaves." I said,
Yeah.
"What
Yeah,
But you know what I have to give Larry Elder? He
the fuck?" You gotta
never.
tell me how you forgive him.
No. I said I have to give him, not forgive him.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I have to give him credit on being consistent with his message. He's been like that all the way since I known about him in the '80s.
What
He's been
happened?
very
What
consistent.
happened?
Say it again.
What happened? If he went through the '80s, he saw what was going on in California.
Oh man, I mean, he was. I wouldn't say one of a kind, but he was best at what he did. Was to again um, rally and say whatever he had to say. Matter of fact, the whole thing is he's able to say stuff that white folks are afraid to say. So he gave them a service.
You know,
So that's what he was for. He got paid for it. That's why I say follow the money. That whole campaign wasn't free, and I don't think that came out of his pocket.
that was a scary thing. That was a scary thing of when I probably took Larry Elder off of my XM subscription. When I saw how he was on that podium, y'all, there had to be like probably 2% black people in there. The rest were just white people. And he was just going. It was like watching a Richard Pryor show of him just going in on black people.
That's right.
And I'm
But you
like,
know what? On him, like there's certain like me and Mike and Renaissance Man, we we appreciate Michael Steele. We appreciate Colin Powell.
I
They
like him.
they they don't care much about Armstrong Wins, but I can even stomach him. You know, but Larry Elder, so it ain't just like okay, well he's too far right. No, I mean it's just like he's against his own. That's the issue. He's against, and it's like how like for example all these different things that are happening when BLM came in, and like I agree with Larry Elder on some of his stance on BLM, but he even took out the broad stroke as well. Is that what he start attacking the message instead of the organization, and I was like, bruh, you drinking your own Kool-Aid. So, but go ahead, BM. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you
no,
off.
no, no. Like I said, this is a discussion when we sit in because, like I said, but I had it with people say, well, BMT, you're for BLM. Well, believe it or not, I've actually gone to like one or two of their chapters. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I like to do my field research, and you know, the ones that were putting in work after the AME 9 shooting, that's my stepdaddy's church. So of course I'm gonna be there, and the people that were there, it wasn't no BLM. The BLM just go there just to be in the goddamn news. But they weren't there. They weren't there for the after carnage. They weren't there to help with the families. They weren't there to help some people find jobs or, hey, your daddy's dead, so what I'm saying, you're gonna have to pick up the pieces and step up. Or, they weren't there for that. They come in with Sean James and all the other motherfuckers, take their goddamn pictures and get the fuck on. No justice, no peace, and ride out. I'm like, motherfucker, we already done caught Dylan Roof. What the fuck are y'all doing? We got this. So I get it. But when you're just saying that, well, look at BLM, black people just complaining. Well, shit, we've been saying the same shit since the 70s and the 60s. What is new now that y'all thought Colin Kaepernick put y'all on the game about? That's shit that blew my mind. What did he tell y'all new that art and any of his brothers or BGS or any man with some damn bit of sense or woman had not already told y'all? Now at this point, for me as a young brother, I gotta be for real. I just now that's why I'm like, I got nothing to lose, man. But if you didn't want to listen to the prophets, then shit, I just got to find my way to the promised land, man. I got to pull a lot and get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because at this point, I'm like, yo, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You tell me to save the black woman, but the black woman don't want to leave. Bitch,
But
you
what?
can stay.
But the. Uh-huh.
No. Go ahead. I'm just being honest, y'all. That's why I said
Hmm.
I didn't understand. Like, I felt really disturbed when people said, "Aren't you pro-black? Why did you not defend Larry Elder?"
Uh, that wasn't that was a disingenuous question. Whoever questioned you on that one, but that's why I was making fun earlier. But the thing is, obviously, whoever put him up against Newsom, they knew he was going to lose. My question is, what was the motive in putting them up there? Was he supposed to do a distraction? Like was he a litmus test? Because remember, the real governor's race is next year. So I'm wondering why 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 even go through this? And then you got was it Caitlyn Jenner too, right? It seemed like they were testing minorities or something to
Yeah,
see
that was
which one.
weird. That was getting weird. I was like, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner don't know shit about no damn politics.
And Fox News was supporting Caitlyn.
Wow, ain't that backwards?
So I have like some right wing, some right wing uh co-workers here. One almost cried. He said, "I'm done with Fox." He said, "This is messed up. The COVID stuff, Fox. I'm just done with all this, man." And I said, "Man, I'll check it." I told him I'll check it out. But yeah, they were pushing Caitlyn. I was like, Fox News.
Yeah. See, and that and that to me is why I think right now I think it's fair to say, OG, that I think black people are getting tired of listening to black people with platforms. And I'm talking about like in big mainstream media. Because once they start seeing them checks, they to me, I think they stop forgetting how to connect to us. I'm just
Mm.
that's what I feel. I'm not speaking for nobody else. That's what I feel. Once they start getting that preacher check and them sermons, and them revivals start kicking in, fuck, fuck being black.
Well, it's a hot
But
potato, man. It's a hot potato. It's because you got so much stigma behind just the term being black, period, and you can't shake it off. And then what made it so even bad is when we talked about the use of the N word. Here we are feeling subjugated by the word being used and feeling disrespected, but we made it cool in culture and hip hop. We made it cool now, and then so when people want to partake in it, you know, they have to convince you that it should be okay because you get to say, "Why can't I?" Not even not even going by the history of what it's still doing with people, because right now it's 2021. And last time I checked, people still use that to subjugate you when they pissed off at you.
yeah,
This is the time we're living in. So just being black, man, people see what it is, man. Like what's his name? Jane Elliott asked her white audience, "Is there, if anybody like to trade places with a black person, raise your hand." And nobody did. So you enjoy watching the dancing. You like seeing the athleticisms and probably just the whole mannerisms of the cool side of blackness. But I think they know for sure they don't want to trade places because of the treatment, and the
well,
stereotypes and all that.
I, you know, I I remember one time I was riding with we had this cool white kid that we used to hang with us, and it amazes me. Like when we got in trouble, he was never there. But whenever it was a good time to smoke, drink, hang with the females, he was there.
Mm.
So then one time, my cousin said, "Oh no, you can't hang with us anymore." He said, "Why not?" He said,
Right.
"When it's time for the fun, you're here. But the other times, you gone. When it's time for us to get our whooping, when we get in trouble, you gone. So you can't hang with us. When my granddaddy get here with the switch, you hightail and you go back to the fence and you go back to your yard."
I gotta roll out, fellas, because my class just walked in. My
Okay,
lunch
go
is
ahead.
over. So it's good hanging out with the fellas. I appreciate
Always.
y'all. So let me go ahead and hang with them and see what they got to offer.
Go ahead. And
All right,
so,
y'all.
all
Go
right,
ahead.
buddy. Thank you, Art. And
Oh,
so,
well, thanks. Peace.
and so the thing about it is this, you know, I don't mind working with the people that don't mind suffering with me. If it's a man or a woman, true. But if you don't want to be down when the shit gets bad, sit your ass to the side. Don't be cool with me when it's only relevant. But then you say, I can relate to you. But then when it is time to actually put that to the test, you go ghost. If you're going to be for me and Tool and any of us, then be for us. And a lot of people, I get it. A lot of people say, well, I don't know, Joe. There are people like, listen, man, I get everything comes at a price. There are things that, you got to put into, into action. True. But I'm also like, hey, man, accountability, that's a motherfucker, man. And a lot of motherfuckers don't really don't want to hold that slapstick, man. Like they really don't. And that's the thing bad about it, because I want our people to get jobs. I want our people to have a good way of life. I want people in general just to be able to be treated fairly, But I'm also like, hey, man, if we can't have the honest conversation, then there's no point to any of the conversation. If you can't say that you want to hold just 1 percentile, but you don't want to call the other groups of what they're doing. See that's a big issue that we're having. If you're gonna call it out, call it out. But if you're not gonna say anything, then shut the fuck up. I'll see you guys, but I just wanted to let that out. Much love to y'all. Peace. You have a good day.